Definitely a recorder.
Absolutely. Hey guys, it is Mike with Become the Night. Welcome to the first Become the Night SNOBCAST. I am joined today by Joey Frevola and Jesse Peck. These guys are the two guitar players from Edge of Reality, a local, how would you describe your genre specifically? I would say progressive metal, but...
You could say that.
I could say that. But
how would I personally describe our music? It'd be like...
Let me move this up a little closer.
When you wake up in the morning, you look out the window, and you see like a bird and a baby bird, and you see the baby bird trying to fly. That's like us.
The bird is not a factor here.
So, like, you're saying that your music's gonna die immediately?
More than likely.
More than likely. Fucking, so I would, oh shit, sorry. I would say that you guys are a healthy mix of prog rock and prog metal. But yeah, these guys are a local Nashville band. And I think, the first show I saw you guys at was Thank You Scientist show at the High Watt.
That was fun.
Dude, that show was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
That was the first show I've ever seen in my life where every act was really solid. There was never a down point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought so as well. All the touring bands were really good.
Oh my gosh. Dude, freaking the T Club.
Yeah.
I really like the T Club. Oh my gosh. If you guys haven't listened to the T Club yet, go check out, was it I Shall Consume Everything?
That sounds right.
I think that's right. It's inspired by Zelda. The fucking mic's gonna keep going down, man.
I'll keep watching it.
No worries. But anyway, so how'd you guys meet?
Facebook.
Yeah.
We both went to Belmont starting in 2012.
Let me stop you there for just 1 second so you can explain to the people at home what Belmont is.
Belmont is a university located in Nashville, Tennessee.
It's not Berkeley.
Yeah, it's like the second.
It's not Berkeley.
It's the second Berkeley, the second tier to Berkeley, essentially.
Kinda, yeah.
Like you think of music schools in America, you pretty much go Berkeley and then Belmont.
Well, that's the thing, too, at least from what I've heard. I've heard Belmont is more of number one school for music business.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard very much so.
There are so many music business majors.
Oh my God. Another trivia, I didn't know this until I went there to try and do recruitment for my actual fucking stupid job. But that's actually a Christian school.
Yeah, yes, technically.
Technically, yeah.
Air quotes.
Air quotes. I mean,
But in a lot of ways, yeah.
You do have to do like Christian curriculum, don't you? Or something like spiritual curriculum or whatever.
You have to take 2 semesters of Bible classes, I think.
Yeah, you have to take...
Could be worse.
Yeah, like religious experience class, and you have to attend like...
Religious experience class, also
like
known
chapels.
as... okay, I was gonna say like ayahuasca or like...
No, usually about the Bible.
Usually.
The required one, the freshman year one, the one we took, it was like the Bible was the first half of it. It was a linked course.
Oh, that's
Half
right.
of
Yeah,
it was the Bible, and then the other half was like a music history class, which is an interesting.
I forgot about
crazy
that.
mix.
It's actually an interesting link since a lot of the early church, like the early music, comes from the church.
Yes, it does. One of the things I actually loved studying was Gregorian chant. That stuff is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. But anyway, sorry. Please continue on how you guys met.
Oh, right. Well, what happened? There was kind of an incoming students Facebook group where I think somewhere on that one of us posted something. It was like we found out we both liked a band. I think it was Theocracy. It was Theocracy. Yeah. Okay. And it's like a power metal band. They're fun.
I'm sure these guys probably know.
Okay, you know Theocracy.
They probably know more than I do. Fuck.
And then I think we kind of talked a little bit as a result of that, but then it fizzled out. Then I posted a song that I wrote, and then Jesse messaged me, and he basically told me everything that I did in my song. And it was like, oh, it's cool how you went from this key to that key at this precise moment, and how this... And I was like, do you have perfect pitch or something? And he was like, yes, I do. And I was like, clever. we should be friends now. And so here we are.
We should be friends.
That was it. Now here we are.
Yep.
Freaking in. So how long ago was that?
2012.
Yep. So
That's it?
6 years ago.
Yeah.
Suck. Damn it. Fucking sitting over here. Oh yeah, freshman 2012. Like, yeah, we're this good and still sitting here like fucking how do I tap on more than 2 strings? Shit.
To be fair, that is not easy.
No, it is not at all. Dear God. But no, that's awesome, man. So how long have you guys been playing for individually?
I started when I was 12, 11 years.
Wow, 11 years. Which, by the way, if you guys want to go check him out shredding, you should go to the Edge of Reality page. Joey posts some videos every once in a while, and they're just ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
You totally should.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Check out our page.
Yeah. How about you, Jesse? How long have you been playing for, brother?
I think now math. Like
I thought you said meth. I was like, what?
I've been playing since meth. No, I've been playing probably about 8 years now. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
Shit.
I started in.
You've only been playing for 8 years?
But yeah, I started. I think I got my first guitar when I was 14, and then I started like playing when I was like 15. I started taking lessons the summer before I went to Belmont.
Okay, so you've seen it firsthand of Mike the Music Snob renouncing his guitar playing forever.
No.
Damn.
No.
You should not do that.
That's too
The
late.
world needs more lefties.
Too late. This went from being a podcast into being a fucking wake. Thank you, guys. Nah,
I'm going to leave now.
I'll take my leave now. You can take the
I've done
channel
enough.
over. Yes, Joey's like, I've accomplished my mission.
My work here is done.
He's been a fucking deep agent this whole time. Just shut me down. But anyways, I have not listened to your first album yet, but
That's okay.
I have listened to Vicious Circle a number of times now.
Yay.
When I listen to Vicious Circle, I hear Devin Townsend, I hear Dream Theater, I hear Rush, hints of Zappa, hints of Neil Morse. Let me fucking fix that for you while you answer this question for me. Did I pretty much hit those nails on the head as far as what you guys were going for?
I mean, I'm sure those are all things you can pick out because those are definitely bands. Those are definitely all bands I listen to.
Mm-hmm, same.
And but you know, it's never, at least in my case, maybe Jesse thinks of it differently. It's like you never really think, oh, I want this to sound like X band.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at least the way me and Jesse work creatively on music is it all starts when we have just some idea. It's usually like not even a musical one. It's some extra idea, like in a lot of cases it's like a random story idea or even just a title that sounds funny to us.
Mm-hmm. Just a
And-
random like pun.
Yeah.
Most of the songs
Or like
on Vicious Circle
Cupcake.
come from a pun, like a pun.
Yeah, like for Cupcake is a good example because it was like we were just talking and somehow we came across this idea of like someone giving their friend a cupcake and their friend inexplicably getting really angry over the fact that he was given a cupcake. But you never find out why he was mad about it because that's not the funny
it's
part.
irrational.
The funny part is that he's
funny part is that's
angry
the
about it in the
reaction.
first place. And so then we wrote a song about it.
Yeah, and so our approach is, yeah, we're not trying to, I guess you said hit the nail on the head. We're not like targeting a particular sound. We're targeting staying as true to an idea that we have as possible. So we're gonna pull from all our influences to be like, you know, what is this? How do we convey this idea that we're having?
Pretty much.
That's beautiful. I love you guys already.
We love you.
So I guess what more specifically are your influences? I'm sure I hit on some of them here.
Ooh. These days I find I'm super. A lot of the music I listen to is film scores these days.
Damn, like good man. Which composers or which films?
Joe Hisaishi, Danny Elfman
Of course, Danny Elfman.
are like the top two for me. Those two are like on the god tier. And then
Wait, not John Williams.
John Williams has some good stuff, although
He just has some great stuff.
controversial statement. John Williams is really good at main themes, but as far as actually scoring a whole movie, he's not that interesting.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree.
But when he has like a really good melody to just write a piece around, it's amazing. Like, Star Wars opening is sick.
Or freaking
So-
Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Every cover of Duel of the Fates, it's cool to do it now. It's like, dude, it's hackneyed by now. Like I saw one the other day. It was like two Jedis in the mall, guitar dueling. I'm like, this isn't even interesting anymore. It's been done to death. I think it got done to death for me when I saw the trombone version of it. It's
my God.
It's just 6 screens of trombone all playing different parts.
That
And I
was amazing.
It was great. I was very impressed. And at that point, I'm just like, no matter what you do, even if you fill up a bunch of glass bottles and run an RC car along it so it plays it in perfect time, I'm still not going to be impressed anymore. I'm over it. Moving on. So, when did you guys first discover prog?
Jesse, you go
For
first.
me, I didn't really listen to any prog until pretty much almost when we went to Belmont. Like, up until then, all of high school and some of middle school, I was listening to a lot of like just heavy metal, just metalcore, like kind of more generic, simple. Becoming the Archetype was kind of my gateway band. Becoming the Archetype, Between the Buried and Me. I started discovering them towards the end of high school, and then when I got to Belmont, meeting people like Joey, and being around music students all the time instead of in my hometown, kind of that's what opened the door to prog for me. So like, it wasn't really until I got to Belmont, and it was at the same time that I was also getting into jazz and exploring all the stuff that we were doing in school. Jazz fusion. So it's
Crazy how jazz and classical music suddenly lends itself towards people discovering prog, right?
Yeah, there's elements of both, and it's like you almost, or at least for me, it was like I discovered both at the same time. It was like prog,
nice.
and then it was like jazz and jazz fusion as well.
Oh, you discovered prog first?
They were around the same time.
Okay.
I would say, like I said, the gateway bands for me were like bands like Between the Buried and Me and Becoming the Archetype that kind of got me from the heavier side into the more technical and layered composition elements and everything, and then it went from there.
Rock and roll. How about you, brother?
Well, it pretty much, I guess if I had to trace it back to one thing, it would be playing YYZ and Guitar Hero 2 for the first time.
Good man.
It's pretty much the first moment where I was like introduced to music that was very confusing and made no sense to me. But I kind of liked that about it. So I just got really into that track, and then I asked my guitar teacher if he would teach me that song. And he said, yeah, sure. But then next time he comes in for a lesson, instead of giving me music for YYZ, he gives me the music for Limelight. So, and then I heard that song, and I was like, that song it makes more sense to me, but it's the same band, and that's cool. So I learned that song, and then I pretty much just started listening to Rush exclusively. and then the real kicker was when I heard 2112 for the first time. Just the track 2112, the 20-minute song.
Yeah.
Which, first of all, 20-minute song, what is that? That's even possible? Was my mindset.
Oh,
and
what
then
was your mindset? I was like, we're really going to go down this rabbit hole?
And it was just like, I don't know, it was just like, I think what really got me was, but when I don't know, I assume, if you're not familiar with the song, those of you listening, essentially there's a whole section in the middle where the main character finds a guitar.
Oh, okay, so I reviewed this on the show.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of bitched about that.
Oh, really? Good. I'm probably about to defy you.
No, that's fine. Everyone does, so it's no worries.
No, because like in the story, there's the character. Well, in the world of the story, music is kind of regulated and not. No given person can express themselves via music. Music is kind of owned by this totalitarian state.
Wait, didn't Dream Theater do that first?
No, that was like a year ago. 2 years ago now.
Yeah, right.
Wow, it was 2 years ago now. It was, yeah, because they're getting the studio soon.
Yup.
But and then there's this whole section in the middle where the main character finds a guitar under a water, or like in a cave near a waterfall, and it just has this whole section where you have Alex Lifeson, the guitarist of Rush, do it like tuning the guitar, and it's just there's beautiful moments where somehow just these little pitch shifts just tell this story just completely via the music. And it was just like I understand what's happening in the story just by what's being done with the music. So that was kind of a big pivotal shift in how I thought about composition and what music can even be. So yeah, 2112 is like the genesis, I would say. Everything I do now stems back to 2112.
I love you guys. You guys are the
We
best.
love you too.
My goodness gracious. So, as far as being Nashville musicians, what would you guys say is one of the biggest challenges that we face? I mean, even just taking the prog part out of it, which I know is a huge component, but let's just take that out of the element for a second.
Well, I guess the only way I can think of that question is related to my experience as far as my goals as a musician aren't necessarily related to being able to play in Nashville outside of doing like our own music. Like that
sure.
I'm content with that. But, you know, I know a lot of people that graduated Belmont that, you know, they're trying to make their living just playing for other people. And I think that can be really frustrating in Nashville.
Oh my God.
There's so many of us.
Being a
there's
human,
so many
being a
players,
human
and they're all
fucking
good.
jukebox, man.
Or, you know, a lot of them are good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good players, and there's just so many people trying to make it. So there's so many artists that you could work with, and it can start to get overwhelming just how many people there are, I think.
Yeah, I don't think either of us have ever set our sights on, you know, being a studio musician, or even.
Which, by the way, both of them could be, without a fucking doubt. You guys could definitely do session work. I'm sure you've already done session work. I guarantee it.
I did a little bit when I first got out of school, but I kind of have started to let those skills rust a little bit because I've just realized they're not really towards my goals. But
Oh, totally.
Yeah, it's such a. It's hard. Number one, like it's not easy being one of those guys. You have to be so solid on so many fundamentals of, you know, sight reading charts, executing with no practice or very little practice,
Yeah.
and giving them what
being
they
very
want.
being very broad, being able to interpret what people, you know, it's essentially
about giving people what they want as opposed to you. Not that it's not your art and not you coming up with the expression, but it is limited to not only your ability to do all that on the spot, but also your ability to give them what they want and it still be your voice.
Yeah.
Which is why I've just preferred. I've been happy. I've been able to play, I feel like, enough in Nashville just for playing our shows. And I get asked occasionally to play, you know, like fill in guitar on other, you know, just like for other bands, just for like shows, just one-off stuff. And like, I'll do that. That's cool. But I'm not going to try and go in the studio and create a moment for a song that isn't my vision, I guess, is the only way I can think about it.
If you don't mind me asking why.
I don't know. I guess that's not why I got into music, and it's not an aspect of music that I guess that's particularly interesting to me. It's like a whole separate thing that's really cool that a lot of people do that are really good at, but it's just something that I've never really been interested in developing, I guess.
also recording sucks. Like
It is the worst.
it may sound weird me saying that because I record stuff all the time.
all the
We
time.
but
This dude puts up clips on Facebook all the fucking time.
recording yourself playing and hearing how bad you are at it constantly and having to figure out why you're bad at it and then fix it so you can be less bad at it and so you don't have to hate yourself every time you hear the recording.
Hearing this coming from you makes me feel so much fucking better about myself.
Oh, nobody's above it. It's just
Recording just the moment the red light's on, it's like,
yeah. Well, there's that. Number one, number one, your skill drops by like 80% the minute the red light is on.
Just because you have a mind fuck instantly.
Yeah, red light syndrome, as is my favorite term for it.
Fucking
But also, it's like it's annoying because the the more you have a vision in your head of what it should sound, the less you're going to ever sound like that, if that makes any sense.
Yup.
And the harder it is to actually achieve that. And I'm the kind of person who, before I do anything, I have an idea of what I want it to be.
The closer you are to approaching light speed, the closer you are to ripping a hole in the time-space continuum fabric.
So yeah, I'm just like, oh, it should be this way. Why is it not this way? I can't figure out why it's not this way. What am I doing wrong? Even beyond just missing execution things, like it's just
even if you play it right, that's not the same thing as getting the take, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You can get all the notes right and it still not be what the song calls for or what the part is supposed to be.
Oh, totally.
Which is actually an interesting topic, because I think, especially in the world of guitar playing, I think a lot of people, because guitar is such a kind of a pushed instrument, like there are so many really like scary good guitar players just pushing the instrument forward to like places you never would have even dreamed of in just a few years ago, like people like Josh Martin and even Tosin Abasi, people doing just insane things with the guitar.
Oh my lord.
That there's the kind of also this mindset of like perfection over art, in a sense. I think it with way a lot of people play guitar, like they value cleanliness inherently, where it's not necessarily the point in a lot of, or it's not necessarily conducive to good art a lot of the time.
It's one element of the guitar, but the guitar has so many more faces and ways that it can be better than other instruments too. Yeah.
Well, it's not, I mean, it just in the sense that like people are so focused on making everything technically perfect that they lose out on expression, I guess, is with the the I think
so in favor of that.
I'm
so in favor.
There are plenty of guitarists who are great at both. Like, I'm not saying that this is even a big. Sure, yeah. Oh yeah, he's one of the most expressive guitar players for sure.
He's my fucking boy. Love him.
But it's just this thing that I think a lot of people, specifically with guitar, it's kind of a problem, I think, among the people who play it. I don't think that's as much of a problem with most other instruments, in my experience.
Specifically with metal shred players.
Sure.
Yeah. Specifically with those guys, yeah. Just because they're like, there is a certain amount of one-upsmanship that comes with this. I mean, why do you think Mike the Music Snob is a fucking thing? Like,
And I don't mind the one-upsmanship, because again, the people are pushing the guitar so far as a result of that mind,
yes.
And it's really cool. I love seeing what people come up with. It's this whole craft that is just light speed towards some goal that we'll never reach. But but like, actually, a perfect example is like Tosin Abasi. I've seen so many people complain like, "Oh, Tosin Abasi's not even that clean," and I'm like, "Yeah, who cares? He sounds sick."
Yeah.
Like his sweeps are not clean. Like they're not like, like every note is not perfectly separate. Every note is not, perfectly audible even, but it sounds amazing. He just knows how to touch the strings and use the pick properly. He has this sound to him that is just so cool and sounds really, it's just good. Anyway, continue.
No, I was just gonna say, I have bitched about Tosin sweeps. I have bitched about that before.
I can understand if it's like you don't like them or it doesn't sound good to you, but
it was specifically, what was their really well known song that opens
K-pop.
up? Yeah, it was that.
That's a perfect example. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the only thing I complained about with his playing was that opening, just because it was just like, I don't know, you didn't have to do it that fast, because I don't know, I prefer it cleaner, I guess. And then also keeping in mind the guys that I typically listen to, which is like, MAB, fucking, that dude shreds ridiculous. Michelangelo Badia.
Oh yeah.
Fucking, that guy is too clean. Way too clean. He literally is a machine. But, like, guys like that, when I listen to him sweep, like,
I mean, he's just a complete monster.
Yeah, like I guess I just get used to that and honing that in. So it could definitely just be a bias on my part. I'm more than willing to accept that.
Yeah, and it is a taste thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, totally. Which, by the way, Keep that in mind for when you watch my fucking Song Suggestion Friday videos.
Why? What happened?
It's just, if I have an opinion, sometimes people don't like them. They're like, "You're wrong, Mike. You're wrong." Yeah, you're right. My opinion is incorrect. Because that's a thing that can happen. Oh, god damn it, Joey. I'm so sorry about your microphone
It's
fucking
fine.
stand, dude. Either way, I love that tangent we just went off on, too. That was amazing. So, Joey, I know that you also play for Kyros. What's it like trying to fucking balance these two projects out? Legit.
It's difficult in some ways, especially now because both bands are essentially in the writing process.
Oh.
And on top of that, I have my own separate writing projects that I'm working on. So it's just a matter of allocating.
I have that as another thing to ask you as well, so don't worry.
Okay. It's just kind of hard to allocate your mental energies in a sense, because it's kind of what we said in the beginning. The way I like to think about writing is I kind of write based on some idea that I have. So it's not like, like a lot of people talk about how they'll write music, they'll just write a bunch of music and they'll present it to the bands. It's like, oh, that band didn't like this song, well, I'll just put it to the other band. That's not how I think about music, really. So it's kind of like any music I write is going to be written for something from the start, if that makes sense. So I don't know. It's just hard to balance, I guess, is what I would say about that.
I feel like I'm in the minority on how I write music because I've heard so many people say like I do it for like a purpose. For me, a lot of times I'm just overwhelmed with an emotion, and it's just a way that it just outpours from me, you know? Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes it's not even necessarily like I'm so pissed off or so sad or so dejected. It's almost always negative emotion. What a fucking shock. But sometimes it's just like I'm in a groove, like I'm in a groove, I'm jamming by myself, or like even just like I've just had a musical thought in my head, and I'm like, okay, I need to remember this, and it means nothing. It literally means nothing, like specifically. It's all just musical, carnal tickling in my spine that just feels good to me at that time for no specific reason.
That's perfectly valid. And I think I've definitely had situations like that where the quote unquote idea that I mentioned because I always base something on some idea. The idea doesn't even have to be like a silly story, like in the case of Cupcake. So a lot of times it is just like this kind of intangible feeling about this thing you could make, where you're like, what if a thing kind of felt like that? Mm-hmm. Then it's kind of impossible to describe other than just making a thing. So that happens sometimes.
All right, at least I'm not the only one.
Definitely not.
But you guys both have your own solo projects as well. I know Jesse just dropped his.
I did at the end of this past year. And that was kind of a result of I've been listening to a lot of different kind of music lately, a lot more electronic music, and I've had a lot of ideas that have like kind of built up over my time studying at Belmont, and then since I've been out of there, just sitting with my guitar sometimes, and it's not anything for an idea, which usually the edge stuff we write is usually for an idea. So I've kind of had a bunch of ideas just kind of sitting back there, and I finally had like a new idea that was like, oh, I can, all of these ideas that I've had kind of sitting back here can all fit together for this new album. And, it wasn't an Edge of Reality thing. So I kind of was like, yeah, I'll take a shot at doing my own album, I guess.
I guess I'll just make an album. No big deal. I wish I could just kind of haphazardly fall into making an album one day.
That's kind of my writing approach, though, which is really lazy. Honestly. Joey's talking about all these, he writes for for Edge and for Kyros and the
Is
solo
that your
stuff.
fucking? Is that your Jitsu from Naruto? Sloth.
yeah. Like I don't spend a lot of time writing. The ideas are kind of always brewing, and then I'll have a moment where most of the song will I'll be like, oh, that's what it is. I don't know how else to explain it than that.
I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean. That's actually a lot of times how I come up with like what turns out to be the skeletons of my songs, and then I fucking nitpick the piss out of them. Oh my god, I'm going through that right now on my project. But
Where you like write out or you'll kind of make a very rough version from beginning to end and then shape it with detail afterward.
that I originally think is like, this is great the way it is.
Okay.
And then I listen back to it a few times, I'm like, it's boring. It could get so much better, so much more detail, which is like, yeah, I'm really going through a lot of polish and fucking sanding down the edges on the song. A couple of songs I showed you, just about every one of those has changed slightly.
Okay.
And they're going to change a lot more. But either way, sorry.
Yeah, I think I know a lot of people who kind of write like that, where they'll just they'll write very kind of stream of consciousness almost, and then kind of when they're looking at it with a more critical eye, they'll be like, oh, actually, this should be this way. This should be, and then they'll change it substantially in like kind of rewrites, which that works perfectly for a lot of people.
Makes a huge difference. And at least I think specifically for my writing style, I think getting that core inspiration out on paper is important, because it gets like that core spirit, and then you can kind of keep that core spirit and kind of like make it something that's more presentable. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how about you, man? I've listened to some of your solo project.
Oh,
You did drop that, right?
No, it's not out yet.
Okay.
I'm working on it. I'm trying to find a way to release it that doesn't simply start and end with me putting it on the internet. Essentially is my current dilemma with that.
You looking for like players?
No, I don't care to play it live. In fact, I pretty much, it would be kind of a fool's errand because there's so much about it that's,
There's some crazy shit on there.
yeah, it's never intended to be played live, really. It would take way too many musicians, more than is practical, to play live. And, but no, I'm essentially I'm looking into labels and just I want someone who knows what they're doing from a marketing and releasing an album standpoint to like.
I was going to take money. I was definitely going to take money.
You were going to take money?
What's that?
You were going to take money?
No, I'm saying that's going to take
Oh,
money
well,
to do that. I'll take money. I will also take money. If you, I mean, yeah.
Fine, here's my wallet. If that's what you really want.
Do you need another voltage, good sir?
No, I'm good.
All right. I'm going to grab another whiskey. Please continue.
Oh yeah, no, I need I want it to actually reach people instead of just being on the internet and nobody ever listening to it. Like happens with, so many albums that are really
being on the internet, Joey.
Oh no, I want to be clear. I definitely want it to be on the internet, but I also want
this on like Tidal.
It's the subtitle of the album. In fact, Gone. It's on the internet.
It's been. I can't sing right now.
It's been a long
throat.
day.
In case nobody.
Is that what you were going
noticed.
for?
I was thinking Periphery.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Neil Morris.
Mile Zero. I just can't.
Oh yeah.
I just can't sing right now because
I
my throat is scratching.
fucking love that song.
That whole album is a masterpiece.
So much.
Yes.
That's
Their
one of my
best album.
favorite songs on that album too. And
Yeah.
when they came here with Animals as leaders, they played that song live, which blew my mind.
I didn't get to see it. Oh.
Yeah, that was a good show.
It's a great fucking show. That's right, I did see you there. Shit,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Dude, all right. So, funny thing about that show, Jesse, did I show you my Jim Beam that I brought to the show?
You did.
You did.
You're what?
So, you know how they have like security there and they wave you down and shit?
Good security presence.
Yeah, it's pretty decent sized, Well, I roll up with my leather jacket, and in each inside pocket is a plastic bottle of Jim Beam that they did not find.
I'm surprised they didn't find it, honestly, because they check you pretty thoroughly.
They don't pat down the front of your chest, apparently. So, tip if you go into this specific venue that we won't name.
Even though we were talking about
You can
the
easily
specific
figure it out
show
via context clues.
of what show we were talking about.
I don't know what show are we talking about.
What bands?
I don't know.
We're talking about a show.
Click the time located on the video to find out what show we're talking about.
Wait, we're talking about a show?
Yeah, we're talking about a show. I thought we were talking about the Super Bowl. No.
Oh yeah, I did see you yesterday.
Yeah, I saw you at the Super Bowl.
But no, freaking, I got these 2 little bottles of Jim Beam in, and I bought 1 drink so that I can kind of fill it up with the ice in there while I'm waiting. And Periphery starts, and we're getting into it, and people are freaking moshing and juggernauting so hard. I keep spilling my whiskey. I'm just like, okay, fuck it. I just throw the fucking cup across the crowd. It's like, fuck this. I just start drinking it straight out of the bottle.
Nice.
Moshing and listening to Periphery live. All-time best show experience I've had in Nashville. Hands down. I've seen fucking Guar at Exit Inn. It's better than that. It's fucking fantastic.
Oh my God.
Dude, all right, Guar show was great, but we're not going to get into that right now. All right. So, off topic, what kind of video games do you guys play?
That's an interesting question. If you haven't noticed, I've been pretty under the weather for the last week or so.
Same here.
So I went back on a big Metroid kick. So that's my favorite game series. That was like my first game series.
Which one?
My first video game, well, like not my very first one that I played, but like my first full adventure game was Metroid Prime.
Fuck yeah.
So I played through that and I was like, this is the most amazing game ever. And I've played through it many times since then. So I played through the second Prime while I was sick last week, actually.
Fucking right, dude. What about you,
We
man?
almost called Vicious Circle. We almost called the album Mother Brain.
That's true.
Nice.
Fun fact.
I would have really liked that, actually.
Yeah, in fact, if you go on my if you go onto my hard drive, all the folder that all the session files are in is still labeled MB.
Nice.
But yeah, my favorite game to play is Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube.
I was a Brawl guy. I was fucking stupidly good at Brawl. I could have beaten just about everyone that you know at Brawl.
Too bad that's the
That
one
sounds like
that's
a
not
challenge.
competitive.
Oh, motherfucker. if you give me like a week to get trained up on it, oh, absolutely. Like I haven't played the game in years.
Yeah, I can't. I guess the last time I played Brawl was like 2 matches versus you like a year ago.
Oh yeah, we like broke it out just to see how it was different.
Do you know how I know you're gonna underestimate me?
How?
You know who my main is?
Who?
Ike.
Ike's pretty all right.
He was my main when I played Brawl.
Oh, nice.
Like a slow tank kind of character.
Oh, you think he's slow?
I mean, he is pretty slow objectively.
You're about to find out. You're about to find out real quick, bro. Let's
Let's see how you feel when I start playing Fox or Meta Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, you just wait. You just wait. That's all I can say.
Slow I can be.
Or Marf.
Or Marf.
Marf.
But Mario 64 is like another one of my favorite games. I've been
fuck yeah.
I've been slowly learning speedrunning tactics for it just for fun.
You tell. I'm actually interested.
Oh, are you familiar with how speedrunning in the game looks or any of the tricks and stuff?
Some of it.
Yeah, like just well, the game essentially when the game is done perfectly / as perfectly as anyone can do it now, it basically looks like parkour. Like
Yeah.
it's just absolutely beautiful movement and just super fast and technical. You press lots of buttons. And there's all these interesting little tricks that there are some glitches in the game, but there's actually not as many glitches about it as you would expect. A lot of it is just really optimizing your movement and abusing all the crazy amounts of things you can do with Mario in that game, like all the different kinds of jumps and how to combine them and string them together to get into places the game developers didn't even realize you could do because they didn't expect anyone to be Mario's movement to be as varied and purpose
They
and
did.
like useful as it actually is.
Dude,
So yeah, it's a fun game.
Crazy the way that they, and that, I think that stands up to how the air engine,
Yeah.
the fucking physics engine in there. I mean, is it perfect? No, but for the time, for the first one, like, bravo Nintendo.
And that's why Mario Odyssey is so much fun, because it kind of brings that element back. Where, because like if you played have you played like Mario Galaxy?
Have played it a little bit.
Because it's really fun. It's has a lot of good things for it. Like the movement of Mario himself is a lot less.
Yeah.
You can't do as much with it. It's a lot more scripted, and
Yeah.
A perfect example is like when you do like a side flip, which you can do in both games. But in Mario Galaxy, it has a very rigid like arc to it. There's not much you can really do with it as far as air drift or like directioning with it.
Oh, really?
Whereas in Mario 64, it's like you can side flip into like a dive, or you can side flip wall. There's so much more options with the movement. And Mario Odyssey has kind of brought that back, which is a lot of fun. So I love that game, but I haven't finished it yet.
Hell yeah. I haven't even played it yet. I need to get a Switch, so
I highly recommend.
If you guys haven't been able to tell, I'm a huge fucking fan of Zelda.
Yeah.
An extremely large fan of Zelda. I'm assuming you guys have played.
Yes.
I have started like 4 Zelda games and finished 0.
You hurt my soul, sir.
It's not because I didn't want to
It's
finish
okay.
them.
It's okay. So, what is your guys' favorite Zelda game?
Well, the only 2 that I've played all the way through are Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Okay.
Man, and I really liked both. It's hard to pick between the 2.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I mean, just between those 2, probably Twilight Princess. Overall, I guess.
you
But
just
they're
pissed
both
off a
really good.
lot of Zelda fans. Just
I
so you
know.
know.
I'm not like
Regardless of which one you
but-
said, you would have pissed off a lot of Zelda fans.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like an in-depth
dude,
Zelda
fuck it.
player. I haven't played all of them, but I'm really curious to play like Majora's Mask.
It's lost a lot of its appeal over time to me.
What, Majora's Mask?
Quite a lot, yeah. If you do decide to do that, I would recommend picking up the 3DS version, because it at least has like some updated graphics and shit. Unless you don't really give a fuck about the graphics.
I've got it on Virtual Console.
Nice. I actually have the fucking thing sitting right over there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have. I still have my N64 with both Zeldas and Glover of all the games.
Oh my God.
Of all the games who have made it out of fucking when my games were stolen by a random person, and also a completely random game, Ogre Battle 64.
Never even heard of that.
Nobody has. Very obscure game. It's
pre-Shrek?
I fucking love. What's up?
It's pre-Shrek too, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it is pre-Shrek. Since we're delineating time by Shrek.
BS before Shrek.
And that's somehow like an important marker on like for like music. You're like talking about albums.
Yeah.
Well, is that album
It's your favorite-
PS or PS?
Post
Post
Shrek.
Shrek or post Shrek?
Shrek.
You know, apparently they're making a 5th one now.
What?
Apparently that's been announced. I feel like I read
Damn
that.
it.
I think I read that somewhere. Don't quote me. In fact, I probably should have figured.
This is why the AI joke about killing us. This is why they joke about killing us. It's because we're releasing a fucking 5th Shrek movie. God damn it.
If you count the musical, it's the 6th one.
But they're all BS. So sorry, no, they're all PS.
So wait, is the
Let me rephrase that. They're all post Shrek. So
That's
Shrek
true.
2, Shrek the Third. I don't know if Shrek 4 is just called Shrek 4.
Shrek Forever After, I think it's called.
Yeah, and the musical. They're all post Shrek.
Yeah, you're right.
So that says something about them.
If they weren't, that'd be very confusing.
It literally says they're after Shrek. That's what it says.
There's a lot of other things that are post Shrek as well.
Yeah,
Trump is post Shrek.
it's true.
I'm able to squeeze him in here. That means I can put him in the SEO. I mean, that's gonna
In the
all
tags,
views.
Playing the YouTube game.
Trump is post Shrek. That's the title of this.
That's
It's the title of this
Please
video.
make that the actual. And so, however long this is into the video, they'll finally figure out why it's called that.
If not the title of it, make it your caption with posting it.
Like the subtitle, yeah.
Yeah, or the subtitle or something.
It's just a freaking picture of Trump photoshopped to look green with the ears. All right, so I haven't decided how long this podcast is going to normally go, but I think now is a good time to wrap it up into the final section,
Okay.
where I'm going to do some hot takes with you guys.
All right.
All right, hot takes. Ready?
I guess, yeah, go for it.
The Beatles.
What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed
Sorry.
to reactively give your opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, give my opinion.
Yeah.
I enjoy Beatles songs, and then I find out they're Beatles songs, and I'm like, oh,
That doesn't change your opinion of them?
no. I'm like, oh, that's a Beatles song.
Okay.
I enjoy it, and I usually like them.
Joey?
I have the opposite view. I've pretty much never liked a Beatles song that I've heard.
Oh, my Lord. You're hurting me.
I've listened to
It's okay.
like
They're so catchy
I
and
can't say that I've listened to like a lot, but you know, like I've listened all the way through Sgt. Pepper, and I didn't care for anything on that album.
There are some really good songs on that
And I've
album.
listened to various songs from other albums, and I just don't.
Eleanor Rigby.
Yeah,
My Lord.
just doesn't do much for me.
I had a funny feeling you were going to be that guy, Joey. I just knew it. I just knew it.
And it's not to be an edgelord. It's just
No.
if I liked the Beatles, I wouldn't pretend I don't.
The drummer in my own band is the same way. I'm still trying to convert him, even though he's a fucking prick.
By all
Yeah.
means, send me what songs you think will convert me, because I'd
Yeah,
be curious to hear some that I like.
I do have to say, I wouldn't say I'm like a Beatles fan. Like, I don't go out of my way to listen to Beatles music at all.
Yeah.
But I definitely, when the song comes on, I'm like, I enjoy it, because it's usually pretty like, oh, this is catchy.
Yeah.
Like, they stick in my mind really well.
I would call myself a Beatles fan, but not like a diehard. And especially like people talk about how great Abbey Road is. I really don't think it's that impressive, honestly. Like there was a certain point, like a couple albums or maybe even just one album after Sgt. Pepper's, they just went off the fucking deep end. Like
What songs are on Abbey Road?
Fuck, I don't even remember all of them. I know She's So Heavy, which that really wasn't that great of a song.
Okay.
That's how fucking memorable that album is. I think Come Together was on there.
That's a good one.
Come Together is a good song. That is a good song. But either way, next one, Bob Dylan.
My first. His voice is annoying,
That's exactly what I was going to say. I despise his voice.
and his songs, I'm like, are they actually about something? I don't know. Maybe they are. They might be about something. People certainly think they're about something.
take.
That was the hottest of takes.
That was the hottest
It
of
helps
takes.
that my
Yeah, that definitely
like
added to
jumping
it.
around, because it makes my opinion. People that disagree with my opinions are gonna be like
They can just write it off to your voice
yeah,
being
it'd be
wrong.
more annoying because of my throat issues here.
Yeah, I can't say I've heard much of his music at all because I can't get past his voice.
Oh, for real. And not only that, the fact that he thinks he can play guitar.
Again, no comment because I've not heard enough of his actual music.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, they know. Maybe, I'm not sure if they know how I feel about Bob Dylan.
I enjoy folk music as a genre, but
Yeah,
I can enjoy folk music, depending on how much it sounds like they came out of East Nashville. Just put it that way.
that's a good gauge.
All right, Steve Wilson's latest album.
Haven't heard it. Wait, is that one? Wait, the most recent one is
To the Bone.
Yeah, I've not heard it. I honestly don't know if I've heard anything off of it except for maybe one single, and I don't even remember which one it was. The only Steven Wilson album I've heard all the way through, I think, was The Raven That Refused to Sing, which I loved that album.
Great fucking album.
I don't think I've heard anything else of his all the way through.
did you not listen to Hand Cannot Erase?
Maybe I did, but it wasn't that memorable if
Yeah.
I did.
All right. All right.
This video is sponsored by Steve Wilson.
All right, you viewers at home, are you ready for this? To the Bone is hot garbage. It is so awful that I'm actually blown away that anyone likes it. It's actually just every song is bad. It's so bad. And on top of this, are you ready for this? Steven Wilson is overrated.
Whoa!
On the whole.
Yeah, I can see that. Part of that is his fault.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
Like he makes himself, like he inflates himself. I feel like, or has too much of an ego.
Does he?
That's like the vibe I get from him is like you think you're all that, and that makes you overrated almost.
because you can never live up to your own image of her. Yeah, I suppose so. But like,
In that case, I'll always be overrated.
well, like, let's see. Like, Porcupine Tree. There are some good Porcupine Tree albums. You know, Fear of a Blank Planet, The Incident. Those two albums are great.
Absentia is really good.
I don't really like In Absentia that much.
No, I dig it.
good.
I mean, I don't like love it, but I dig it.
There are some good songs on it for sure. But you know, Porcupine Tree has some good stuff. But his solo albums, like Raven, is the best one probably. There's a couple of songs on there that I think are absolutely amazing. Like
There's a couple weak songs on there.
the title track and The Watchmaker are like maybe his two greatest songs ever.
Yeah, I'd say the same.
Like Hand Cannot Erase is just boring and kind of lame and not uninteresting. And then To the Bone is hot garbage. So
I will say this.
he's just such a weak songwriter, I think.
Here first.
I completely disagree with that statement. I do not think he's a weak songwriter.
Well, okay. Well, what do you think? Well, okay. Go on that.
It's just an opinion. Sorry. I should be able to back that up better.
Well,
I will agree.
I guess-
I was not properly prepared to back it up.
That's all right. No, just to me,
The Watchmaker is a great example of good songwriting, and Drive Home is a great example of
Yeah,
good
Drive Home is-
songwriting.
Drive Home is good.
Sound of Muzak, I think, was an example of really good songwriting.
I guess I should say
Examples
he's
of good songwriting don't say whether.
he's very inconsistent
so strong.
songwriter. I guess is a better way to say
Yeah.
it.
You know what? I might be able to go along with that.
But
Because like you have some songs like I said, Sound of Muzak that are like pretty mellow and not too overly complicated or crazy. Nothing that jumps out at you. But then you have other songs like fucking shit. I forget what it's called. But it was like fucking freeform jazz type shit. You know,
sure,
it was like everywhere.
yeah. But no, to me, where Steven Wilson really excels is the production side of things. He is undeniably amazing at mixing and amazing at just overall craft of, you know, the sound of an album.
Which is,
Yeah.
which is why he fucking transformed Opeth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
He's undeniably amazing at that, and I think, I don't know, his actual compositional skills are lacking in comparison to that end. And I think where that really shines a lot is Porcupine Tree, because he's a lot more his production stuff is a lot more interesting with Porcupine Tree, and the other musicians kind of do their own thing more in Porcupine Tree, where it covers up for some of his own shortcomings, which are not as covered up in the solo stuff.
Definitely, there's a lot of moments in the solo stuff that you don't have moments like in Porcupine Tree, because I mean, but that's also another thing with like Raven, which I don't know who played on Hand Cannot Erase or
It was the same band.
It was all.
Well, it was
the same.
it was still Marco Miniman and Guthrie on drums and guitar.
Okay. Well, at least
I didn't know he had fucking Mark Miniman.
yeah,
Yep,
at
for
least
those two
on
albums.
Raven, I feel like their playing is good, but you have moments on that album that are like, what's like where nothing's really like happening. Like especially on the first song, I can't remember what it's called. On
Yeah, I think
Raven.
Luminol is
Yeah, that one.
That's horrible.
There's
I'm
moments
gonna
where
have
it's just
to.
like
I'm
nothing's
gonna have to
happening.
move us on because I'm at 3 out of 7.
That's okay. Sorry, me and the Kyros people have had so many conversations about Steven Wilson. It's really fun.
We will need to bring this up on another episode.
Yeah.
Yes,
I would love
I'm back.
to. All right, Slayer.
I haven't really listened to him that much. I really don't. I guess my initial thing is I just think of just Guitar Hero. Like literally the only song I know
Rain
is
and
Raining
Blood.
Blood. That's like the only song I know.
That's the only song I
But
know too.
I don't listen to a lot of thrash really though. It's not really like even when I was like in high school and I was listening to a lot of heavier music, I didn't tend to get into thrash. I got into more like tech death and like heavier.
If I can push you a little further, why do you think you didn't get into thrash as much?
I think there are things about it that I just naturally don't like that maybe I could have gotten to if I listened to it more, but I guess the style of the vocals wasn't very appealing to me, and I feel like the style of, or I guess like the subject matter. I feel like a lot of it tends to be
stupid.
tends to be about tends to be like almost. I mean, like the intent is to make it sound as gory as possible, and like lyrically, I'm just like
it's meaningless.
Yeah,
It's meaningless hot garbage.
it's hot garbage.
Joey,
Guitar Hero 3 Raining Blood is the only experience I really have with Slayer.
of course, it's fun.
It's just it's fun to play on the game. I don't know. It never made me want to explore it more. I always found the guitar solo really stupid as well.
Oh my god! Don't get me started.
In a good way or in a bad way?
Yes, like I agree with you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So here's my theory on Slayer.
Okay.
And most metal bands that are strictly metal bands and don't venture outside of that genre. There's only so many times you can express to people how brutal you are. There's only so many times before it's like, oh,
Still brutal.
That's new.
yeah, still brutal. I guess I'm just gonna live my life this way from now on and just keep listening to only this and nothing but this. There's nothing more to life than brutality. Definitely not compensating for anything. Small dick. So Metallica.
Pretty, I would say indifferent, I guess.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people that listen to metal now, I guess, or like more recent, or like, modern metal, and, kind of either grew up on it or, it's on the radio a lot. So I feel like people kind of have attachments to it, but I didn't really grow up on it. So I'm not really attached to it. They definitely have some cool songs. Like, I can listen to it and be like, yeah, this is cool. I guess that's all I can really say about them.
No worries. Joey?
Yeah, there are definitely a few songs that I enjoy from them, but I wouldn't say I enjoy their catalog as a whole. Like,
Okay.
I don't know. It's like it's too one-dimensional, I guess, in a way. Like it's just.
They're that cool band.
I mean, and it's not their fault. They started a thing. They were the first one to do that thing, and that's fine. But as someone who grew up since people took that and ran with it, it's kind of hard to go back to just the very simple version of that thing. If that makes sense.
I definitely understand
Which
that.
I think it's very possible that's why I don't like the Beatles.
Very possible.
Because to me, it's just like it's
For-
been done
for
so
me,
much better.
That's one of the
opinion.
reasons why I'm not a huge fan of Hendrix.
Yeah, I've never liked Hendrix for the same reason.
Oh, no. You didn't say that. You want these people to be fans of your music.
His playing is boring. What can I say?
Oh, shit!
This is the hot take section, right?
Fucking gauntlet. Yes. Joey. Coming back on the fucking show, Joey.
Yes.
God damn it. Yes.
No, and it's totally fine if you like his playing. It's just I don't know. It's just to me, it doesn't do much for me.
We were
It's just
talking,
blues scales and,
about technique and cleanliness of playing before.
yeah. I'm not saying it's.
There comes a point.
I'm not saying it's actually bad. There's nothing bad about it. It's just his music doesn't do anything for me.
I don't know.
I just don't enjoy it.
Some things I feel like you probably could have, been a little more sober when you recorded it. just slightly. Anyway, Metallica was actually my favorite band for a long time.
Yeah.
Very long time. But, I mean, obviously.
I have a hot take for you.
Oh, fuck, for me. All right, let's do it.
Kirk Hammett.
You mean Kirk Whammett?
That's enough.
No, just messing around. Fucking Kirk's my boy. I like him. He used to be my favorite lead player until I found out that other people play lead a lot better. Oh, I don't like saying it. And I love you, Kirk. I really do. Even though you're a little bit.
He's listening to this.
Yeah, right. I mean, he might someday. Dude, it's on my bucket list to play a show with Metallica. It is. It's so on my bucket list to do that. So if I'm about to fucking have to talk shit, I'll just send it there.
Fair enough.
All right. Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. I think, well, I hadn't really heard of him until his big When To Pimp a Butterfly came out. I listened to that and I thought it was really good. I never really went back and listened to anything before that though. But then I listened to Untitled and Mastered and I thought that was really good. I like how there's elements of jazz in it. The production is really interesting because it feels like there's parts where I feel like I could imagine this happening in like almost like a jazz room or something. Like the bass, I think part of that isn't Thundercat on there?
That I don't know.
I think Thundercat might be.
I'm not super familiar with his catalog. I've listened here and there.
Gotcha. Well, I'm definitely a fan of at least To Pimp a Butterfly and Untitled and Mastered because that's all I've heard of his. I've heard mixed things about his new album, but I don't know. I feel like he's definitely solid. I feel like I wouldn't say, from what I can tell, I don't think he's overrated, I guess, in my opinion.
Okay. Joey?
I have heard maybe 2 tracks of his stuff. I can hear one of them in my head. Like I've heard it enough where I can hear kind of how it goes. It's the Be Humble one. I've heard that one a bunch.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
And I've definitely have heard at least one track from Untitled and Unmastered, which I definitely liked a lot more than the Be Humble one. That's as much as I've got. I've not heard enough to even say.
No worries, man. So Be Humble, of the few tracks I've listened to, which I've probably listened to about 10 or 12 of his tracks so far, that's my least favorite by far.
Okay.
It's like, it's just, he has so much more talent and has much more of a message. No, like he's so fucking expressive, and not only that, but his beats are mostly actual true hip hop as opposed to the trap shit. And Humble goes back to the fucking trap shit. I'm just like, dude, don't do this to yourself, please. You're better than this. You're better than trap, brother.
What is trap?
Trap rap. Trap is basically a euphemism or slang term for a drug house. And trap rap is that new fucking bullshit mumble rap where there's always that same fucking hi-hat sample played a billion times.
Oh, okay.
Always the big bot on the boom that's completely out of tune with the rest of what's going on, but it's the only thing you hear in the fucking car because the guy has subs and nothing else. Subs and nothing else. Oh, and you also hear his fucking trunk too. Lord. Yeah. So that's trap.
Okay.
Very, very mundane beats, all with that fucking newfangled synthesized shit. Very rarely do they ever use natural, like, actual recorded samples. That's one of the things I love about hip-hop is because they actually do that natural recorded sample type thing, or like they lift stuff off of other stuff and fucking lay it down, and that's their beat. And oh my god, the bass lines on hip-hop feel so good. So tasty. Sorry. But anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah, I like Kendrick. If I had one complaint about Kendrick is his voice.
I like his voice.
I'm not a fan. I mean, like, I don't hate it. I'm just not a fan. But either way.
Yeah.
Fade outs.
Okay. The rubbing of hands.
In case you didn't
We
see
have
that,
very similar feelings.
I was rubbing my hands together at the palpable pleasure of me being able to talk about this.
Go ahead, you start.
No, you got this.
Well, everything you're gonna say, I'm gonna be like same, and I'm not gonna say it with as much fervor.
All right, fine.
This is the Joey Frevola fucking monologue.
Fade outs are stupid. They're so dumb. There is literally no situation in the world where anything else wouldn't have been better.
Challenge accepted.
I can think of. I know your recent video has an example, one where you think that's not the case, but I'm here to inform you
That you're wrong.
it is the case.
Wrong, sir.
Wrong, sir. Wrong. But no, fade outs are stupid. They're just.
Stupid.
It's just a guy turning the volume down
And what's wrong with that?
for you. It just
On everything.
Yeah, it's just turning the master fader down. It's not interesting. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound like anything. It's just a guy turning the volume down. It doesn't say anything. It's just...
So if
I just think it's a horrible device.
So instead of... So if live, everyone was playing an instrument and they all turned their volume knobs down at the same time, would that piss you off equally?
If they can...
Not exactly, because they're actually doing that.
Yeah, if they're able to recreate it, that can be really cool. Like a live fade out can actually be kind of cool when all the players do it.
That's just a decrescendo.
Right?
On recorded music, they're like I said, they're literally just turning the master fader down.
I would say there is a difference between a fade out and a decrescendo.
Yeah, they're not the same thing.
Okay, I was gonna say and if you're gonna try and reciprocate that live, just playing it lighter isn't gonna do the trick.
It wouldn't be the same effect.
Yeah, it would not be the same effect.
It would be cool, actually.
Yeah, it would sound better than
The
what a fade out is.
contrast would be awesome live.
But anyway,
okay, I can come this far. I feel like a lot of fade outs are unnecessary and are just kind of cop outs. Mm-hmm. I can see that, absolutely. And I've done fade outs in multiple songs that I've done. Multiple songs. A lot of those are covers. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I can definitely understand your argument, but I think there is a time for fade outs. Because when a song is that good and you want more and they're not letting you get more, but they're kind of giving you just a little as bit as it keeps going, it's so satisfying in the most unsatisfying way.
so it's kind of what's the term?
If you're gonna say gay, I'm gonna be mad.
No, I wasn't gonna say gay. Yeah, you're saying it's the idea is that
You do
it leaves you wanting more.
Yes, but that feeling of leaving you wanting more would be ruined and would almost ruin the last idea you listened to if you resolve it.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like there's other ways you can end it without resolving it that aren't fading out.
Well, depends on how you define resolve. You know.
You mean moving on? You mean if any other idea is presented, you lose
Because
the rapture?
I guess you're essentially saying that the fade out implies that the song isn't over.
It never will be.
The song can never be over.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, I suppose I could see that.
Last question. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Probably.
Probably.
Yes.
Why is it a sandwich?
Because it is in between two things of bread.
I guess it depends.
Does that make cake a sandwich? Because technically it's bread in between two things of bread.
An
cake?
icing.
It's separated by
sandwich.
icing.
A cake is
You're
in
saying-
between two things of bread?
No, like cake is layered. It's typically 3 layers.
Two layers.
There's
of
no bread in cake, though.
It's all bread. I mean, technically it's cake, but it's another kind of
Yeah,
bread.
it's cake, not.
Another kind of bread. Sorry, Marie Antoinette.
I guess if you wanted to, you could call cake
Are 3
an
slices
icing
of-
sandwich. Maybe.
Are 3 slices of bread stacked together a sandwich?
It's a bread sandwich. At that point,
All right, fine. I guess cake
At that point, by
is
your
a sandwich then.
definition, at that point,
Yeah,
by
it's
your
it's a
definition,
bread sandwich, Joey.
So what you're saying is that any loaf of bread is like 10 sandwiches.
No, it'd be more than that. It'd be more than that.
Oh my gosh, it's like there's so many combinations.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one version of the sandwich.
version of the sandwich that is the two end pieces are the
only pieces.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just one big fucking sandwich.
It's a 9-piece of bread sandwich.
It's fucking smashed.
And then there's an 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 going all the way down from the top loaf, and then the second one going the other way.
Yep.
Then all the other combinations. So it's like the number of pieces of bread to
It's like-
that many number of pieces
I
of bread.
I
It's like
want
that-
a math equation to figure out how many sandwiches,
How many sandwiches are in a loaf of bread?
Yeah, you would,
You have to use like factorial and stuff. But no, like, have you ever seen that math logic thing where it's like how many squares are in this picture? It's like that because there's like squares within the squares.
How many sandwiches are in this loaf of bread?
Yes.
That's the second gold that we've got. Trump is post Shrek. A loaf of bread is many sandwiches.
Several sandwiches.
Too many sandwiches.
More sandwiches than we could ever eat.
Oh my god, more sandwiches than we could ever count.
Yep.
A loaf of bread equals infinite sandwiches.
If it's 10 slices, it's 10 to the 10 power combination.
Pretty much,
Now,
yeah.
now here's the kicker for the hot dog thing.
Okay.
You say it's in between two pieces of bread.
Well, that was what I was going to say, yeah.
Well, it's
but the
one
bun
piece of
is
bread.
one. But the bun is one piece.
I guess that's where the confusion lies.
But the word sandwich, you could describe the hot dog as being sandwiched between the bread still.
Is a sub a sandwich?
You could also describe it as resting on top of the bread.
Sure.
Is a sub a sandwich? Because it's the same sort of thing with the bread.
Depends, I guess, if you cut the connecty part.
Yeah. Then it depends on if you eat
In most
the hot dog with the bun, with the hot dog facing up or with the bun sideways. Because if the hot dog is facing up, then it would be kind of laying on top of it, like you said. But if you hold it the other way, if you eat it sideways,
So it all depends on how you hold your hand.
Yeah, if you hold it sideways, which is how I eat a hot dog, it's a sandwich.
You eat a hot
because
dog
it's
sideways?
in between the bread. I eat my hot dogs sideways,
Legit?
this way.
Dear God. Well, I mean, they can't. They used to be able to see.
I don't pile stuff on top of it. So I just,
Okay. Oh, dude, I'm chili and onions on my dogs, man. Chili.
okay, so
onions,
maybe that
cheese.
wouldn't be a sandwich then, because it's all kind of piled on top in that case.
This is why I've always thought it's one of the most interesting questions you could ask a person.
You learn a lot about a person.
I've got a question for you that we don't have to talk about now, but you could use it on one of your shows.
Oh.
And you could think about it so that you have an
do
idea
it.
for it. We talked about this a couple years ago. What is the opposite of a bubble?
I forgot about this.
Does everything need its opposite?
I mean, maybe the answer is there is none, but
Okay. What is the opposite of a bubble?
it's just something to think about.
So hold on, let me logic this through. So it's a bunch of lipids that encapsulate air that's also surrounded by air. So it would literally have to be an atmosphere of lye with one pocket of air surrounding another pocket of lye. That's the only thing I could possibly think of.
Good answer. I don't even remember what conclusion we came
Well,
to.
I don't think we came to a conclusion, but I remember one person had said maybe an idea of what could be close to one if we kept working on it would be like a small puddle of mud.
That sounds familiar.
The implication being that a bubble would be like some kind of like soap or something that's like clean. So the opposite of that, it'd be dirty. The bubble is something that's like
Round.
yeah, it's round and it has space inside of it. So it'd be the opposite of those things.
Something dense.
So it'd be dense and be on the ground, and it'd be I guess the opposite of round. It'd be
Flat.
Yeah.
Quote unquote flat.
so.
I got you.
Puddle of mud, I think, was the closest we ever came to the opposite of a bubble.
All right.
So if I ever make a band that sounds completely different from Puddle of Mud, I will call it Bubbles.
There you go.
Bubbles. Guys, this has been Joey Frevola and Jesse Peck from Edge of Reality. It has been an absolute fucking pleasure having them on. You guys, please come back. This will be fucking great.
Yeah, let's do
We
it.
would love to.
Oh, goodness. All right. This has been the Become the Night Snobcast. I am Mike with Become the Night. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Rock on.